Okay. You may see them hanging out in trees, and you probably don't think about them, much less the intelligence of one. But I'm about to change the way that you see crows. They can recognize you, they possess problem-solving skills, and crows have the ability to make and use tools. Many crow and raven species are now ranked near primates in the terms of cognitive abilities. According to the article The Intelligent Crow, Exploring Human-Animal Relationships Cross-Culturally. I've always been interested in crows, and I learned a few new things while doing my research for this speech. And I want to share some of that information with you today. So let's get into it. Crows can recognize faces. Kaylee Swift, a lecturer at University of Washington who wrote her doctoral thesis on crow behavior, says that wildlife biologists wearing rubber masks captured, banded, and released individual crows without harming them. And while the crows weren't harmed, it was still a pretty traumatic experience for crows, and they wanted to see if the crows remembered this. So whenever the researchers returned, the crows remembered them, and they gave their warning call, and they attacked them. Interestingly, years later, the crows who weren't captured also gave the alarm call and attacked them, which means that they communicated and even taught their offspring that the researchers were dangerous. An article on Washington Post by Anne Cameron Siegel says they also remember those who are kind to them and pass that information along. They often bring gifts of thanks with a rock or other small object. So here's the significance in this. Crows can judge how your actions affect them, determine if you mean harm or not, and teach other crows about you. Next, I'm going to talk about crows' problem-solving skills. An article called Crows Are Even Smarter Than We Thought said that they can drop nuts on the road so the passing cars will crack them. A pair of crows have been reported at the train station where one will press the button with their beak while the other one drinks, and then they'll switch. Finally, my last point is crows can build and use tools. You heard that right. Crows can use and modify tools. Using twigs shaped as hooks, they can fish bugs from the wood. Kaylee Swift tells us these crows might be the only other animal besides early humans that habitually make hooks in the wild. So in conclusion, if a crow walked through the door and asked for my car keys, I wouldn't be surprised. And I might give them to them. At this point, what can't they do? They know who you are, they are analytical, and they can construct tools to make their little crow lives easier and more efficient. Next time you see a crow, I hope you see them for more than just a noisy, feathery being. My hope is that you stop and are able to observe some of these abilities in action. Oh, there you go.